I wish I could. It's a wonderful.
Thank you,
It's a
ma'am.
wonderful.
Thank you.
The world needs more love. Thank
Yes,
you for
you
bringing
give
that
it.
message.
Please make. You
Yeah,
give it.
it has. It is.
Imtiaz sir, hi sir. Welcome to Hyderabad sir. Really grateful for this opportunity. I really loved the film. I would like to start the conversation on a slightly personal note. I lost a grandparent recently, and I think 2 months before I saw the film. When I was watching the film, the scenes between Diljit and Mr. Nasiruddin Shah, they just broke my heart because everything that I experienced with my grandmother during the her last days is the strongest person I knew. But then we have this tendency that we never look at our grandparents as people who were also kids once, who also had a youth, because in our mind they have always been old, right? So when Miss Nazir and Diljit they were interacting and he's not able to communicate properly, those scenes just broke my heart because I was there. I was right there. It was very overwhelming for me when I was watching the film in theater, and that to me is the takeaway in Main Vapas Aunga. It has a beautiful love story, tragedy, all that, but that relationship to me is the core of the film. So thank you for that. And how much did your relationship with your grandparents shape Main Vapas Aunga?
I've had a good relationship with my maternal grandparents. More because I lost my grandfather, paternal grandfather, and grandmother very early. And so, with my nani, which is my mother's mother, I had a longer relationship and a very good relationship. And I feel she was the first person that started telling me stories. That's to her credit because now, like, my profession is telling stories.
Yeah.
And while she also had issues of memory and dementia and things like that, I have not spent as much time with her as I would have liked to, and as much as you have with your grandmother. But I have seen this in the experiences of other people, not only my direct relatives, but also other people talking to their grandparents and parents sometimes, depending upon what age they are. There is a certain gentleman called Mr. Inderjeet JG who lives in Chandigarh, and he is at 96 or 97 years old.
Wow.
And he many things that transpire between Diljit's character and Nasir's character in My Vapas Aunga is actually borrowed from his interactions also with his daughter, with all of us. Many things like the moon and not Martian I created, but moon and spaceship and all that has been created.
Wow, wow. So now when we talk about Imtiaz Ali, I don't think nobody watches an Imtiaz Ali film just to get entertained at this point. They want to be moved. They want to see themselves. It's almost like Imtiaz Ali is like a modern philosopher at this point. Did Imtiaz Ali ever become a baggage to Imtiaz Ali? Because people want your work to do something to them.
Yes, I have had many thoughts about that. I remember that I was thinking that, like, I'm not a person that takes myself very seriously, but at some point of time I thought that people are taking my films very seriously, and maybe I need to get off from that position in people's minds, And then
It's not easy. Your work has created such a
yeah.
impact.
But then I thought that this is arrogance cannot be associated, like, oh, you can't understand tamasha, and that kind of thing was going on, and I thought that's not, I mean, I should make films that everyone should understand. I don't feel that anybody is less intelligent, so I have tried, because also over the years I've realized that you can't dictate what image people have of you. You know, I can only do what I can do, and I can do it with the best intention and with just the intention of service, maybe, you know, of trying to do what best I can, and while doing what most I enjoy, which is filmmaking. So, yes, I've gone through, it has become baggage also for me. The fact that, you know, I'm not here to tell anybody philosophy because, wow, I mean, I'm interested in it, but I don't know more. Things like that. So, anyway, here I am trying to learn from different kinds of films that I'm making and try to do my job better so that it can be more entertaining and easier and more fun for the audience.
And sir, how aware are you of the impact your work or art has created on people? Because I know people, that's my friend Sai, he did film school, he went to film school in Delhi, and he knows someone, a friend of him in film school. He was an engineering student. All he would do was order pizza, drink coke, just chill. Then he watched Tamasha. He quit engineering and came to film school. And there are many stories like this, right? In that sense, you command a lot of power because of your work. How does that make you feel?
With power comes responsibility. You must have heard this. And I think that is something that is true, because, you know, it's good to say that, hey, you know, somebody got impacted by my film. But then I have to now make sure, as a person, as a human being, that the impact is never detrimental. Like, somebody should be impacted in a positive way. And the least is that they should enjoy. And if they take something from there, then they should do it to an advantage to themselves. Because what am I saying? I'm also saying things that I've only learned from other people. This is not coming from, like, I've not created these things. You know, I have seen them. I have imbibed them from the society, from parents, from other elders, youngers, and also from books and films.
How do you see the relationship between writing and awareness, like emotional awareness, like political awareness? As you age, you have more experiences that you accumulate. So, how do you see the relationship between your awareness and your writing?
The relationship is not a very direct one. Awareness keeps on increasing. I think you get to know more and more. You also you start understanding things in a different way and all of that. However, when you're writing, you're not directly writing what you're aware of. In fact, you go into a zone which is a little unaware zone. You go into a little bit of a trance zone. Then you don't deliberately plan what you're writing. So, writing and making a movie is a bit of a irrational kind of a process, while awareness is a very rational process.
Wow, that's a beautiful quote. I saw a tweet that said, love is to Imtiaz Ali what time is to Christopher Nolan. Why do you think people feel that way?
I feel that I've just recently seen The Odyssey, and I've seen many of Christopher Nolan's films, and where he plays a lot with time. He, especially in his slightly earlier movies, he seems to be playing with time zones, and what that does to relationships and the world, etc., etc. And it's a lot about time. So I guess people say that I have a similar engagement with love.
Tendency to play with love.
Tendency to work at it.
Explore
or to
it.
engage with it.
How do you come up with new angles every time? You have explored love in so many different ways, yet it's a different angle every time. It's a different lens that you look at love. How does that happen? Is that again irrational, rational?
So I'm not, I think the trick is in not wanting to explore a different angle of love at all. I don't set out to write love stories at all. In my mind, I'm trying to make stories of things that matter to me, that I've seen, and they are stories. And then as the stories develop, the characters partly involuntarily, partly out of control, they interact and the story gets formed in a certain way. And of course, it will have a scent of me because I've made them, but I'm not trying for that.
Hmm.
So, what you are saying is the byproduct of what I do rather than a deliberate attempt.
Wow. So after I watched Main Vapas Aunga, like obviously there are many people who like immensely adore you in my friends group. So and one of the things that we were discussing was that two people raised the same question and I gave them the answer. Is that there is a huge tragedy in Main Vapas Aunga, which is what happens to the family, and then the love, the unrequited love, the love story that's left abruptly. So my friend was like, isn't that the bigger tragedy? Why is this man after 70 or 80 years still hanging on to that unfinished chapter, whereas we don't really see him pine for his family, which is a much bigger tragedy? And my answer was, he had 60 to 70 years to process what happened to his family, but this love story is something that is left midway, and he doesn't have a closure for that. He, even though it's a brutal tragedy what happened to the family, he has had a closure on that front, but he doesn't have a closure to the love story, and which is why his heart is still pining for that. That's
Well,
how I thought. What do you?
I feel your answer is partly right, but I'll add another dimension.
Please.
And that is that his unrequited or incomplete relationship with Jia symbolizes all his tragedies together.
Okay.
It became a symbol of what he has lost. So the lament of Kinu, the struggle of Kinu, is the lament and the struggle of the entire world of Ishar and all of those people that are that had been displaced, that entire tragedy of partition, and all of the entire tragedies of all forced migration, human-oriented forced migration that are happening all the time in the world. I think that lament of Kinu is a symbol of all of that.
Wow. Okay.
In the
Okay.
film.
Sir, and obviously the divine trio, Imtiaz Ali, A.R. Rahman and Irshad Kamil, when you're writing, how do you know this is the part of the story that I'm gonna tell musically? How do you make that choice during the writing process?
Well, in the writing process, we do. In the writing process, I think I have, while I'm writing, I realize that as the story develops, I realize that this part, the music happens, and and something communicates through music. But it's in the development and the more development that these things not only expand but also get more set. But yes, it is in the screenplay that the placement of songs happens, but it develops on further screenplays.
Does Mr. Irshad Kamil, he come into the picture right during the screenplay?
After the screenplay is written, that's when I start talking to them. But then, talking to Rahman sir and Irshad influences the screenplay, and then I change the screenplay.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I have a screenplay when I begin talking to them, but after that, the screenplay changes also.
So can you please tell me how Wo Nahi came to be?
So I think Wo Nahi started with Irshad. Irshad wrote this poem. He wrote this poem, and then he said that, Imtiaz, I told him the story of the film. He said, I think this song should be in your film. Okay. So I said, okay, very good. Then he said to Rahman sir and me, and then Rahman sir composed on that. Right? And then after that composition was there, I was trying to see how does it fit in the film. It did not fit any situation. So this is how the screenplay changes. That I brought it into one phase where in my screenplay, Kinu was supposed to be returning to Sargoda and being forced away. In that phase, I thought instead of doing a regular screenplay, let me do it to this song. And then everything fell into place and a lot of new things started getting created. It became ultimately a whole storyline, a whole timeline of Kinu's progress post-partition.
So one of my final questions, since we are running out of time, in a very in an environment where censorship is at an all-time high, how do you make politically charged films? Does that thing run in your mind when you're writing something that this might get censored or this might go in a direction that I don't want to
You
go
know,
in?
I've learned something from my previous film, Amar Singh Chamkila, and that is that you can ride into the eye of the storm. The only thing that you have to correct is that you should not have the intent of harming anybody. You should not have the intent of saying that this political person is wrong or that thing is better. Don't cast that judgment.
Okay.
Right? If you don't want to genuinely hurt anybody, right? And but you want to still tell your story, then it is easier to not make a hurtful film. You will say that there are people sitting around just to exploit. Yes, they will be there, but even their blow will be a bit milder because while smoke can be created without fire, but it's more difficult. So I faced that in Chamkila. In Chamkila, we were all surprised at the end of it that we did not have as much negativity as one would expect or assume or fear. So I think that is the way I go into it. That I might have a political opinion, but I don't try to express it in my film. Except for the fact that, like in this film, in Main Vapas Aunga, what has come through is that, like, I feel it does come through that, like, I'm anti-partition. I don't enjoy the fact that India got partition, right? So that came through, but I don't try to put it that way. But I tried to do it in a way that was not harmful. I'm not trying to say that this community was wrong or that particular political leader was wrong or right. That I'm not doing. Wow. I'm just saying that human misery and suffering is here, and that's because of partition.
So, last question. Punjab has been a very important part of your stories. You called yourself adopted son of Punjab, and I, for the longest time, thought you were from Punjab. That wasn't even a question because I very recently came to know that you are not from Punjab. I would love to see Imtiaz Ali explore South India because we have like stories, drama, just like how Punjab and the drama around it and the tragedies around it gives so much, paves way to so many stories. South India is also there too, right? I am very curious to see how an Imtiaz Ali exploration of South India would be. Yeah.
The city that I'm interested in South India for a Hindi film setting is Hyderabad. Wow. Because in Hyderabad, there are a lot of people that speak in Hindi, Urdu, that Dakkani flavor, you know. And that's a very funny language. That's a very interesting language. Very powerful language. So when I visited Hyderabad, the last 2 times, I realized that it's very, very interesting and people are very interesting.
Yeah.
And they speak Hindi. One of the drawbacks that happens is that I make films in Hindi language.
Yeah.
And I don't know Telugu. So for me to make a film here where in a certain situation people are talking in Hindi, like I have to convince myself how to believe
Looks
it
unnatural.
first. Looks unnatural. So but it's okay. Like, you know, we assume that Jesus Christ speaks in English in some films. So I feel we can. I'm trying to get there, but I think the easy start for me always is going to be Hyderabad.
Sir, thank you so much. This really has been amazing. I wish we had more time so I could pick your brain a little more. But thank you so much, sir. Love this conversation.
Thank you.
Sir. It would be amazing if you could sign a few posters.
Yeah, sure.
We would